All right, what's up, suckers? What? Furious Wipes has music? Yeah, today I discovered this channel called NCS, No Copyright Strike Music. So I can have music playing in the background, and it's actually quite good. It's actually really good music. I listened to it all day long today when I was coding for work, and it's fantastic, really good. But today, we're going to do something a little different. What I'm gonna do is, since I'm really low effort, I can't really afford to edit and spend time editing and actually working hard on any YouTube video. So instead of doing all that, I'm just gonna sit here with my computer and talk about how the hell I've been playing video games for 50 years. And yeah, I would say that, yeah, I'm there at the 50-year mark. Because I played my first video game at somewhere around the age of 6. Maybe somewhere between 6 and 10. So I may be stretching the 50-year thing just a tiny bit, but you'll see. You'll see, and you can decide for yourself whether I'm stretching this. So, oh god, the first video game I ever played was Pong, the home console Pong from Atari. And oh my gosh, I spelled Atari wrong. And the Pong home console came out somewhere around 1976, right? So I've already made a liar out of myself because I was born in 1966. So that would mean I couldn't have gotten Pong till I was 10. But here's the thing. Pong at home wasn't the first time I played video games. The first time I played video games was in the arcade or at the supermarket. There were no arcades because there simply weren't enough video games to throw together an arcade. You would see a video game scattered here and there in a pinball arcade, because pinball machines were around and they were a big deal. I don't know, big deal, but they were around and they were a thing. They didn't start to get good till about 1978 when designers started putting microprocessors into the game and synthesized audio and speech. But the original Pong arcade game, now that had come out already, and that had been out. We couldn't play it at home, obviously, because it was in the arcades. But the original Pong arcade game came out in 1972. All right? And I can almost guarantee you I played it that year. So what would that make me in 1972? That would make me 6 years old. So if I was an old 5 or a very young 6, I mean, you can say that I've been playing for 49 and a half to 50 years. I've been playing video games. And I have been through the entire journey. Not the entire journey. If you really do your research. Actually, you know what? This fucking music is beginning to annoy me. Stop it. So the entire journey goes back to 1962-ish for video games, for actual video games. I think Digital Equipment came out with a video game in 1962 called Deck Video Game 1962. Space War. All right, so here's what it looked like. And I gotta stop this shit. So this is Space War. Oh my gosh, my freaking face is getting in the way. All right, let's rearrange stuff here. And this is basically what it looked like. And it was basically asteroids with one asteroid, which was the other player. And that asteroid was shooting at you. And it actually doesn't look like that bad. Here's a simulation of it. You can actually play this. If you look for it on the web, you can play Space War with each other. Probably with the same original code. But that was 1962. And it's amazing that here you had a video game in 1962 that DEC put out, Digital Equipment Corp. And it was available in colleges before we had even landed on the moon. But none of us got to play that. No actual members of the public, besides some computer nerds, ever got to play this. And I don't even know if they would have been able to describe it to people outside of college. But it is a fact that Atari did bring video games to the public in 1976, and we started playing then. And very quickly, I was addicted. My next video game at home was Atari Pinball. And that kind of started a love affair with me with pinball machines too, not just Atari Pinball. And Atari Pinball 1976 looked like this. No, that's not it. Well, I don't know what he's playing. He's playing some weird breakout version. Show me the pinball. No. This is some combo. This is not original Atari Pinball, I don't think. Because he's not, there are no flippers. Atari Pinball had flippers. You can't fool me. You can't fool me. Where are the flippers? Ah, yes. Oh, this was so bad. I can't believe I liked it. Ooh, I do remember this, actually. I haven't seen this in 45 years. Wow, that was it. That was it. Oh, man. Yeah, that is truly abysmal. And I thought this was good. I thought, man, how lucky I am that I have Atari Pinball. No, this was really bad. But for 1976, I suppose, pretty good, I guess. I mean, the movement of the ball's not bad. I mean, if you really have to compliment something, the movement of the ball isn't bad. But damn, dude, I don't think it got any better than this. Now that I'm remembering. So, yeah. So somehow not satisfying. Even then, I do remember that I got bored of these games, both Pong and Atari Pinball, fairly fast. And then, I guess I was 12 when I went to my local Radio Shack and saw my first personal computer, which was the TRS-80. Trash 80, we used to call it. And it looked roughly like this. Oh, let's look at this commercial. Learn to program.
Where have you been? We're going to miss the start of the game.
Oh, the darn distributor got wet. I had to walk the last 4 blocks. Here, hold this, will you? Yeah, we got to let that dry out, and I guess we have to wait here until it stops raining, huh?
Well, said you wanted to
There's
learn how to
sexual
program my
innuendo
computer.
here.
You bet.
Why don't we start that while we're waiting?
Are you serious? Me?
This is an
program the computer?
infomercial.
We'll be able to solve highly complicated formulas, control millions of names, billions upon billions of pieces of data. I'll rule the universe. How do I turn it on?
Jeez.
Aha.
The enter key. That's what the enter key is for. When you punch it, your command is entered into the vocabulary. So let's begin with a single instruction program. Statement number 10, print, quotation marks, hello, John. Quotation marks.
No, what's that number 10 at the beginning?
Each statement must be numbered, and the computer follows the instructions according to the sequence of numbers.
Wow. All right. So what I did was I found my local Radio Shack, and next to the TRS-80s on display, they would always have books of programs. There was no way to store programs easily aside from a cassette tape deck that would come along with the TRS-80. And I don't even think the first versions had that cassette tape deck available. So any program you chose to run on your TRS-80, you had to type it in that day, and as soon as you turned the computer off, it was gone. And so I would sit there and I would type in these basic programs. This language is basic. I would type in these basic programs from the books next to the TRS-80, much to the annoyance of the store clerks, I'm sure. What's this 11-year-old kid doing, or 12-year-old kid doing, freaking standing here for hours typing into the TRS-80? Anyway, not really a video game, but my first real experience with coding, with programming, and it would affect me later on because I would later receive from my dad a my own computer. And that computer was, wait, what's running in the background? Oh, these guys. And that computer was a Timex Sinclair. A Timex Sinclair. Let's look at that one. This one, Timex Sinclair ZX80. That's the one I got. And it did not have a disc. I do not think I had any means of saving my programs once again. So this Timex Sinclair was $200. My dad got it for me, and I immediately started coding with it. It had a terrible membrane keyboard that was almost unusable. You certainly couldn't code fast on it, and yeah, that was a really bad part of it. But it did allow me to write a whole bunch of my own programs. Oh my gosh, this brings back such memories. Yeah, that's the one. That's what I had. Look how small they made it. That's really, really compact. Can't believe it. Yep. Made in England. Oh, I don't remember it being made in England, but that's exactly what I got. But that's not a video game either. So my next experience with video games was when storage came out, the ability to ship video games with floppy disks. That's when things got good, because that's when Zork came out. And Zork was my introduction into being sucked in to video games for life. Zork. So you didn't believe that I've been playing video games for 50 years, but here I'm going through it, and I'm going to prove it to you that I've been not just playing video games, but playing hardcore video games. Now, Zork, can you count it as a video game? Well, I mean, it's a text-based video game. It's run on a computer. And how old are you, man? How old are you, man? You freak. You're a freak of nature. I am now 55 years old. And yes, Zork was the next video game that I really got into, because by that time, I had a computer. And I believe I did actually have a TRS-80. And I could load games onto my computer and play them. If I didn't have a computer at that time, I probably played this at the store. Or, man, what was my first real computer? My first real computer was Commodore 64. So when I got my Commodore 64, that was a ways after. That was a ways after. Ah, thanks. What up, Mr. Rogers? Gonna 40 bucks some life? Are you calling it life now? What's that new game at Amazon? New World. New World. No, I'm not 40 boxing life. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I'm not gonna 40 box life, man. I have enough trouble one boxing life. It's fucking hard. So, anyway, I did all the work I'm gonna do today. I'm working 2 jobs now. And I did all the work that I'm going to do in both jobs today. So I have time to say hi on stream, and I'm going to. So as you can see, Zork is a text-based video game. I don't know if you've ever played a text-based video game where you say, you type in commands that you want to do, and the computer actually checks your text to see whether those commands mean anything, like N to go north or S to go south, drop sword, there you go. And, inside the video game's memory, it keeps track of a little bit of a map of the world. Every room is connected to every other room somehow. You can even go northeast, southeast. So, used to play MUDs, yeah. So, anyway, yeah, you know what? Actually, speaking of New World, I did look into it today. And there were some interesting things about New World that I liked, that from what I could tell. First of all, the controls got much, much simpler. It's more of a Dark Souls, swing hard, swing light, defend, block interface. And that holds a lot of attraction to me. I'm really quite sick of 20-button MMOs. Really. Very, very sick of 20-button MMOs. So I'm not going to do that anymore. But hey, these text-based video games got very advanced to the point where they led to a game called Planetfall, one of the games that I did solve. Planetfall, another text-based video games, and they would come with all kinds of cool collateral. They would come in a box. The box would have a map. The map, you would have a fold-out map. That map would be usable to solve the game. You would need that map to solve the game. It would come with a book, and to prevent piracy in those days, what they would do is at the beginning of your game, they would have you read from a certain word and a certain page in the book that came with the game, and you had to type in that word. And that was the first rudimentary anti-piracy system in computer gaming. But nothing worked. Piracy was rampant all through the 70s and 80s. Computer games would get copied mercilessly, and programmers would have a hard time making money from selling their IP because of rampant piracy. That would not change for a long, long time. And to the point where it basically killed the computer video game industry for a while. For a while, it wiped them out. It wiped them out. And they just went with the people who were writing games for computers went to video game cartridges, which were not piratable. And so that's where the money was, video game cartridges. Now, my first video game console was Intellivision, actually. Intellivision was the thinking man's console. And I never got an Atari. I never got an Atari console game because I played my friends' Ataris and thought, you know, it's okay, but it's not very good. Even then, even in 1981, 82, even as a kid, you know, 13-year-old kid, my opinion on it was it's not very good. All right. And they did not compete at all with the video games going on in the arcade. You have to remember, arcades were lit. They were absolutely blowing up. And the good video games were in the arcade at this time. And they were very good. They hold up even today. You can play some of those early 80s arcade games, and you will enjoy yourself for a while, even today. So, what's he saying? I am Gen Z. Text games, too hard for me. Text games, too hard for me. Zork is hard. You can actually just play Zork right now. Just Google it. You can play Zork in a browser window. Make a map. That's my recommendation. Make a map. Make little graph paper maps of where you're going and think outside the box. It was designed to be hard. So Intellivision came along and damn, it was good. It was good. They had a famous actor, George Plimpton. He's a famous critic. There's the old Atari video game system, which I played at my friend's and cousin's house. And then Intellivision came out. And Intellivision was better in almost every way than Atari. First, it had this cool keypad, which was used during games. And it was even better than that because there was a slot in it where you could slip plastic overlays over the keypad and show game context-based controls with all kinds of stylization on the overlays. Let's go look at it. Let's go look and see if I can show you what I mean, because that was a really badass part of it. Every game came with some plastic overlays for the gamepad. And they are not showing it on this video. We need to do some justice here. Okay, look at these overlays. Look at these overlays. So these would slip into the gamepad, and look at B-17 bombers. Look at this. And you would be able to have these context-based controls, which blew away anything Atari was doing at the time. And this was like, I guess, 1981-ish. And just spectacular. Just spectacular. Astro Smash, I had that game. And so, yeah, even then, even at my earliest ages, I was sort of a snob. I was already a game snob. And I said, nope, I'm not doing that Atari bullshit. I am going to get the best video game console. And indeed I did. I got myself an Intellivision. And that was a console that I used for 4 years or so, maybe until I left home. Until I left home and went into the military. And I left my Intellivision back home. Man, they are not doing justice to the Intellivision. You have to see the overlays to really do justice to it and know that this is where you were pressing. You played the whole game Some of the games, you played the entire game on that number pad. But even better than the number pad, well, not really better than the number pad, you had the directional pad. And the directional pad was the source of many, many hours of sore thumbs because you can see, I'm going to pause this. You see this, this little gold circle? That was a 16 directional pad. Atari had 8 directions, all right, in their little joystick. Intellivision had 16 directions on launch. And it just absolutely blew everything out of the water. What year did it come out? 1980. So I had it in 1980. I bought it as soon as it came out. I bought it. My mom bought it. I bugged my mom till she bought it. And we were styling in 1980, and we were already cream of the crop in 1980. But you would be pressing on this directional pad so hard with your thumb for so long that your thumb would turn red and sometimes blister. That's how intense it was. And you'll notice that there are 2 controllers. So many of the games were PvP. They were player versus player, which is another thing that made Intellivision incredibly fun. If I threw an Intellivision in front of you with all the games in your living room, okay, right now in the middle of a party, you guys would have fun. It's that good. You would have fun. You would play that shit because it was good. It was good in 1980, 41 years ago. How about that? And so that led me to computers. Of course, the next step up from video game consoles was computers. I kind of lost interest in video game consoles for quite a number of years because I got my Commodore 64. And the Commodore 64 was where it all happened. When I left home and I went into the military and I got to my first duty station, I married a girl. I'm still married to her. And we got us a Commodore 64. And the funny thing is, you know how I was coding, I was programming on the TRS-80 and really enjoying, writing code on my my ZX10 computer. Man, this is going really into the depths. I just want to see them running like Commodore 64 programs. Here we go. This looks Commodore 64-ish. Mule. Oh, yeah, Mule. Wait, Mule. Hold up. I remember Mule. I had Mule. I didn't have that. But yeah, I played Mule. Anyway, I stopped programming at that point because they were coming out with video games for computers left and right. And you could rent them. So you could go to the video game rental store, the computer game rental store, rent your computer game for $3 or $4 or $5, bring it home, copy it if you were savvy, and then return it. And then you'd have the game forever on your own floppy disks. And of course, I was, at that time, participating in the death of the computer game industry, which was going to happen very rapidly after that. Already because of computers, this was about 1984, already because of computers, video game arcades were beginning to die. Because why put quarters into a video game when you can play computer games at home? And that's what we all felt. And so video games, about 1984, 1985, the video game arcade industry collapsed. I mean, it almost disappeared. Just a few arcades stayed around that were there because people were, sentimental about them or whatever, and they could still make a little bit of money. But at that point, everybody went indoors. Everybody came home, and all that mattered was your computer and the programs you ran on it and the games you played at home. And that would continue to be the case until a really good arcade system a really good console system came along, which I did not participate in, called Nintendo. And Nintendo came along, I think, about 1984, also contributing to the collapse of the video game industry. But I already had my computer, Original Nintendo, 1985. All right, so Nintendo came along in 1985, and I was not impressed. Certainly not impressed enough to pay for one. And I already had my computer. I had my Commodore. And later, I would trade that Commodore in for a Amiga, which is Commodore's next computer, which was way, way ahead of its time. And this is not even real gameplay. This is completely fake gameplay. That is definitely not how good it looked on Nintendo. It looked fairly bad. Nintendo looked fairly bad. So here we go. Here's some Nintendo, maybe. Maybe we can actually see what it looked like in real life. All right, well, these are not great videos. Look it up yourself. So, yeah, Nintendo came out in 85, and I did not participate. I was already too busy playing Bard's Tale. Oh my gosh, Bard's Tale. The first real badass adventure game, Bard's Tale. And here's the Commodore 64 version of Bard's Tale. It wasn't even very good. I mean, when you look at it, oh my gosh, it's painfully bad. There were much better versions out for Bard's Tale on the Apple computer, the Apple IIe computer. And my friends had one of those, and I would go over to their house and play Bard's Tale. This was even before 1985. This was back before I'd entered the military, 1984. And so Bard's Tale had the regular Dungeons and Dragons kind of character generation. And then you would go into dungeons, and I think it drew the dungeons. Yeah, this is how bad it looked. It got much better very quickly, but this is how bad it looked. This is you looking at a corner of a dungeon. This is you turning the corner. Oh my goodness. And you had to use a lot of imagination here, bros. A lot of imagination. But we loved it. We loved it. I mean, look at this. We had a whole party of 6. What the heck? And I don't know, man. I don't know how deep I played Bard's Tale. I don't remember beating the game or anything like that. It was more of a, play it till it got boring or whatever. There was a whole bunch of that going on in the industry. Some of the games were just too hard to finish. And Bard's Tale might have been one of them. Not sure. But it was my first major adventure game. And that was happening around the mid to late 80s. And then the Commodore Amiga came out. And of course, I got it. And it was light years ahead of everything else. Commodore just decided, okay, we're just going to kick everybody's ass. And they came out with the Amiga. And let me see if I can show any clips from the Amiga. But there was one game that really captured me on the Commodore Amiga. Oh gosh, look at this. It's so late 80s. It came out in 88 or 89, and I bought it as soon as it came out. And oh my gosh, was it really that expensive? That said $1,200. I think it might have been that expensive. Jeez, how did I afford that on a military budget? I was in the military at the time, and yikes. I don't remember paying $1,200 for it. That seems high. But you know what? The retrospective years often messes with what you think the numbers were. And yeah. So Commodore Amiga Blood Money was a psycho good game back in 1989. And it was the first really actual arcade quality. What's up, Curtis? It was the first really actual arcade quality experience you could have at home. And let's see if we can get some of this sound.
A DMA design game.
Oh my God, this is so up.
There's a whole lot more coming.
The biggest unanswered question is where is the
There's
money?
a whole lot more coming.
The biggest unanswered question is where is the
There's a
money?
whole lot more coming.
1989. This is the actual game. It's just an intro. This is just an intro.
Where is the money?
Unbelievable. That is way, way, way better than I remembered it. $1989. Did I lie to you? I did not lie to you. Listen to this music, man. It's so fucking atmospheric. The more tequila I drink, the more I swear. So you get to pick what kind of ship you want to go through, what kind of planet on, and now it's just a side-scroller. This is just side-scrolling action, and you got to go catch the coins, and it is intense. Frame rate here looks kind of lower than I remember. I think the frame rate was higher than you're seeing here. This looks way less smooth than I remember. I don't believe this. No, I don't believe this is the frame rates. Gosh, if it is, man, I was satisfied with some real low frame rates. I never beat this game, by the way. I played it for hours and hours. It was very, very hard. And you could buy equipment to improve your ship. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Many of the features used in Blood Money in 1989 are still in phone games today. Today. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Incredible, man. It's just so impressive. I still don't think this freaking low frame rate was real. I felt like it was much more liquid than this. Let me see if I'm crazy or...
Support the Amigos podcast and keep the Amiga goodness flowing for just $1 a month. Visit our page at patreon.com/AmigosPodcast.
Amiga, the first personal computer that gives you a creative edge.
You know, believe it or not, I actually like this quite a bit.
This is probably your favorite one.
It's not. It's probably no. I like their games. They're all really hard. It's true. I like Shadow of the Beast 3 a lot. I know people didn't like that one as much, but it was a little more playable. It was puzzly. I liked Awesome. I thought that was a cool game.
I guess.
I liked.
I mean, this looks a little higher
Killing
frame
Game
rate
Show.
than that other, but
I thought was fun.
I guess
You know,
we
but
were just
one thing about their
happy
game,
with
I like
low
the
frame
original.
rates. I guess we were just happy with low frame rates. So that takes us to the end of the 80s. I had been playing video games now since 1972. That means I'm almost to the 20-year mark. I'm at the 17-year mark, and 1990 and beyond brings us into the age of the PC, the IBM PC, and that changed everything. My Amiga would continue to make me happy for several years, but at some point during the 90s, I would buy my first PC. And once I got my first PC, the rest was history. I would not get a console till the 2000s, when my kids were growing up and asking for consoles. That's when I got my first real console, is for my kids. And through the 90s, it was all computers. It was all PC. And I wasn't coding. I wasn't writing code on my PC, which I should have been doing. My life might have been very different if I had chosen to code instead of to play video games. But I chose to play video games. And I chose to play 90s PC video games. And top 100 video games from the 90s. Let's see what they got.
You have to be ready.
I'm hearing good things about Dune, by the way. Surprised by that. Let's see. Oh my gosh, yes, this was a big deal. Pretty much everything that LucasArts put out, including Monkey Island. This is Secret of Monkey Island. Secret of Monkey Island was by far one of my favorite video game series. The Monkey Island series was a huge influence on many video game developers throughout the 90s. A huge influence on people who played PC games. This was the find the hotspot type of game where you had to click around and find the object that you would need to get through that room, and solve puzzles along the way. But there was a lot of wonderful humor in The Secret of Monkey Island that still touches my heart today, and I have often named my characters and other nameable things in gaming after elements from Monkey Island, because I had such an affection for it. Let's get some sound here. Don't think there was there his voice in the first one? I don't remember if his voice was in the first one. I never played that. Oh, here's Monkey Island 2. I think still no voice here. Alone in the Dark, never played. Nope, never played it. Indiana Jones, never played. Street Fighter, probably did play this on the PC just a little bit, but nobody really in my family, my kids were babies, and my wife didn't want to play that shit with me. She didn't want to fight me. This one is Day of the Tentacle. This is a game I solved. Day of the Tentacle, that is actually a game I finished, and that was really good. Another LucasArts game that was really quite fine, quite well done. This one is The Incredible Machine. Yes, I see, it is The Incredible Machine. I played all the way through The Incredible Machine. It was fantastic. It was one of the first construction games and extreme fun. And then we had the whole Leisure Suit Larry series. I didn't really like Leisure Suit Larry because it was more of a tease series. It really didn't have nudity. And I really hated when they would tease nudity to make you buy their games. Although I did hear that Leisure Suit Larry was actually quite fun to play and stuff, but I just wanted nudity. Sam and Max Hit the Road, when I solved a LucasArts game, obviously I love my LucasArts game. Alone in the Dark never played. Siberia never played. And then the next big thing to arrive was Doom, and Doom and Heretic. Heretic came with Doom. These were the progenitors of the real 3D games. They still didn't use a 3D engine. They faked 3D. But soon enough, 3D would be out. And it would be out in the form of the 3DFX graphics card, which you could stuff into your computer and play. If I can get to it, is it here? Tomb Raider. When did Tomb Raider come out? Dungeon Keeper. Oh my gosh, I love this game so hard. I adored Dungeon Keeper, really. In fact, years later when I would play World of Warcraft, I would still name characters for Dungeon Keeper characters. When did... Ooh, there's Balls of Steel. Here's Tomb Raider. All right. So this is Tomb Raider, 1996. Now, the amazing thing about Tomb Raider, and they're giving it short shrift here. The amazing thing about Tomb Raider in 1996 was it came out, I think the 3DFX card came out that year, and she has huge gazongas, just my style. Let me find out when 3DFX's first card. Voodoo Graphics. When did it come out? Voodoo Graphics. So founded in 1994. So in 96, I think I bought my first 3DFX card. And in 96, I was, there you go, 96, the cost of EDO RAM dropped significantly. I played Tomb Raider on a 3DFX card. So I was getting these high frame rate 3D graphics, real-time rendered, kind of look like this. Yeah. This looks like it. That wasn't PC rendering. That was high res. Let's look at Tomb Raider. $1996. This was the year when it all came together. This was the year. Okay, this is not 3DFX. This is not. You can see how grainy it is. This is software mode. This is the best they could do. And then you put your 3DFX graphics card in, and turns into. What is this? This is crappy. This is ATI's card. 3DFX. Here we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. 30 frames per second. Lara Croft with the huge gazongas. The Hamabalamas. And I was experiencing this back in 1996. Okay. You played The Incredible Machine. Oh, I loved it. Did you ever play Hugo's House of Horrors? I have not heard of it, but I will look it up. But I was living the good life. I was doing fairly well at my startup. I had bought my house that year, actually. I was actually playing. Oh, shit. It's true. I was playing Lara Croft on 3DFX, right where I'm sitting. Right now. 1996 was when I bought this house. And this is where I put my first computer. That is where my PCs were, on the left. And that is where I put my 3DFX card. It was here. Wow. It's been a long time here. been a long time here. All right, Hugo's House of Horrors, he says.
Results, make a great impression, and save time at work? You should get...
This was 92. Playing on right here. This is nice. This is really nice. I would have really liked this. I wonder if it was on an Apple. Was it on an Apple? No, the colors are good. This is way better than the Commodore 64. Yeah, I would have loved this. I would have loved this for sure. I know I never played it. That's not bad. That's not bad. So 96 brings us to 3DFX and early 3DFX games. Tell you what we were playing on 3DFX. Shoot, what were we playing on 3DFX? I don't even remember. Let's do an actual web search. Early 3DFX games. Quake. There you go, Quake. Yes, I did play Quake. Carmageddon never played. Interstate 76, I did play Interstate 76. I don't think I went very far in it, though. I don't think I went very far in it, mainly because it got boring pretty fast. I just don't think there was enough there. Tomb Raider played through. Diablo 2 was not a 3DFX game. No, that's a mistake. Virtua Fighter could have been. Never had Resident Evil. Need for Speed I did have. So I did play Need for Speed early on. It was all right. Ah, yes, Mech Warrior 2. This is one I did play a lot of. I did like the fighting robot games. And so I did find myself playing a lot of Mech Warrior 2. So that's it. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot there. So fast forward to the year 2000, and the year 2000 is the year that Asheron's Call came out. He's been playing Asheron's Call since 1999. Oh my gosh. My grandpa and his Asheron's Call. Look at this guy. He's older than me. There you go. That's Asheron's Call. Actually, quite an innovative MMO. It was a really quite good MMO with a lot of freakishly interesting mechanisms in it. Especially the casting mechanisms were very strange. You had to buy candles and you had to use these candles in, oh shit, you're right. Oh shit, how did I miss that? All right. I missed a whole thing. Fucking A. This is what we were playing on 3DFX, all right? Half-Life. 100%, no doubt, this was the one. And we're just going to kind of watch the intro of Half-Life because there's just too much there.
The Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel. The time is 8:47 a.m. current topside temperature is 93 degrees, with an estimated high of 105. The Black Mesa compound is maintained at a pleasant 68 degrees at all times. This train is inbound from Level 3 dormitories to Sector C test labs and control facilities. If your intended destination is a high security area beyond Sector C, you will need to return to the central transit hub in Area 9 and board a high security train. If you have not yet submitted your identity to the retinal clearance system, you must report to Black Mesa personnel for processing before you will be permitted into the high security branch of the transit system.
I feel like spinning the camera right now. I feel like I'm back in the game. And I need to spin the camera a little bit.
Due to the high toxicity of material routinely handled in the Black Mesa compound, no smoking, eating, or drinking are permitted within the Black Mesa transit system. Please keep your limbs inside the train at all times. Do not attempt to open the doors until the train has come to a complete halt at the station platform. In the event of an emergency, passengers are to remain seated and await further instruction. If it is necessary to exit the train, disabled personnel should be evacuated first. Please stay away from electrified rails and proceed to an emergency station until assistance arrives.
If you've never played Half-Life, and you have a chance to, and you get in the game like this and everything, and then you start actually playing through it and doing the adventure, you'll have a good time. I guarantee you'll have fun. It's well done. It's well done. And it's spectacular. I'm not saying it holds up after all these years, but imagine we were doing this in 1998 on 3D graphics just like this, at this frame rate, in 1998, right here, at this
A reminder
desk.
that the Black Mesa Hazard Course Decathlon will commence this evening at 1900 hours in the Level 3 facility.
This is awesome. This goes on. We're doing a full walkthrough. Dude, that's I can't believe I almost forgot that. And if that wasn't enough, I bought a bunch of PCs by this time. All right. By 1998, I had a fuckload of PCs because I was making good money and I had kids. All right. These kids were beginning to grow up. Tanya was already, my oldest daughter was already 10 years old. So she could play Half-Life with me. And so I networked all the computers together, and Half-Life had a multiplayer arena match mode. And we would run around and shoot each other and stuff. Of course, I would pretend to be really bad and let Tanya shoot me. And my other kids were quickly growing up too. And so in the early 2000s, they would have a lot of fun playing Half-Life on networked computers, but not as much fun as they had playing this. Oh, Heroes of Might and Magic. Yes, at some point I discovered Heroes of Might and Magic, but this
Hello guys and welcome to Hero.
Oh dear God. This is 3. We knew about Heroes of Might and Magic all the way back in 1997. It goes way back. And Heroes of Might and Magic 2, for example, we played on networked computers in a motorhome. Just imagine this. 1997, in a motorhome, we were driving around the entire west of the country. My kids were old enough to play Heroes with me, And I think this might have been 98 at the latest, 97 or 98. We drove a motorhome for a month all around the country. Meanwhile, in our spare time, we were playing video games as a family on Heroes of Might and Magic across several PCs, networked together in our RV. Imagine such a thing in 1997, 1998. The kids always remembered that. They will never forget it. Even though they were very young, they still remember it. So Heroes of Might and Magic was a big part of our 90s gaming repertoire. But it all kind of got ruined in 2004. Between 2000 and 2004, though, we were doing the whole console gaming thing. About that time, GameCube came out, or Super NES, Nintendo 64. When did that come out? When did Nintendo 64 come out? 96. Nintendo 64 came out in 96. So I probably had a Nintendo 64 in the late 90s. Of course, I wasn't playing it. I would have bought it for my kids. And then after Nintendo 64 came out, GameCube, I guess we got a GameCube. I still have that Nintendo 64. I think it's sitting over there in that room. We got a GameCube later. Really liked the GameCube, although it was not very successful. And look at this fakely weathered Nintendo 64. Give me a break. Give me a break. No way. That's fake. And we skipped the Xbox. We did not buy an Xbox, but we did buy the next thing after the Xbox. What's the next version of the Xbox? We did buy that. And we did buy the entire series of PlayStations. We never missed a PlayStation. We were PlayStation people, but we did buy the Xbox. What came after Xbox? Xbox Pro? Xbox 360. Yep. We did buy the Xbox 360. We bought a bunch of them. I think I had 3 Xbox 360s. We were pretty extravagant in our spending habits with video games. And for example, I think I had 4 PS4s. Yeah. In 2013. In the 2013 timeframe, I had 4 PS4s. And I had 4 full Battlefield 4 plus Battlefield 4, what do they call it? Premium. Subscriptions. Yes, I had 4. You could play 4 seats of Battlefield 4 in my house, and I would multi-box Battlefield 4 myself. I would multi-box Battlefield 4, and maybe it was 3. Maybe all I needed was 3. I forget, but I would multi-box Battlefield 4 and grab equipment for myself. Yeah. Did I ever play EverQuest? Okay, so that brings up EverQuest, the EverQuest phase. Now remember, I'm playing Asheron's Call, and we kind of got burned out on Asheron's Call by about 2002. Okay? So there's a whole gap in there where EverQuest came in. And EverQuest, to me, I'll tell you why I didn't play EverQuest. They went all out. Sony went all out on the marketing of EverQuest. And I thought in my head at the time that it looked over-marketed. Like it was too bubblegum. It was too mass market. It couldn't be that good because they were selling it so hard that there must be something wrong with it. Why would you sell a game that hard if it wasn't already fun to play? And so that marketing campaign for EverQuest kind of backfired on me. I was like, I'm not going to touch that. If it was fun, they wouldn't need to market it everywhere. And so I didn't play EverQuest. But around 2004, we were getting bored. We were getting bored with everything we were doing. And EQ2 had come out that fall. And so I finally decided, all right, we can try and play this EverQuest 2 game, Monique. And so Monique and I, we each bought a seat of EverQuest 2, and it was pretty good. The graphics were kind of impressive, and the gameplay seemed all right on the surface. We weren't savvy enough at that time to know that EverQuest 2 was kind of a train wreck in gameplay. They really didn't know where they were going with it, and there was no PvP, I don't think, at that time. And the questing and adventure system and experience system was extremely unpleasant. And so we played that for about 2 months, and we're like, there's got to be something better. And Monique's like, well, what about this? And she points to World of Warcraft, which had just come out. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. I'll buy 6 copies for the whole family, because by then, everybody in my family could play World of Warcraft. So I bought 6 copies on Christmas Day, for Christmas Day. We all had our World of Warcraft accounts set up and working on 6 PCs on Christmas Day, scattered all about where you see behind me. And it was an instant success. It was an instant hit. Not necessarily with my kids, all right? They weren't into it, all right? They didn't like dad yelling at them to do shit. Okay, so it just seemed like, okay, here we are in a game and dad's yelling at us to do stuff. And I was horrible. I was not a very good person to play World of Warcraft with at that time. And it's no surprise that all of my kids kind of, stopped playing it because they didn't want to be yelled at by dad. But Monique and I, we kept going. And Monique got yelled at a lot by me, but she was very brave through it all until I got a grip on my fucking personality. She was very brave and still had a fantastic time, fell in love with the game, and in the end, played a lot more than I ever did of WoW. And that's saying a lot, because for about 5 years there when I was multiboxing, I was playing a lot of WoW. And I still think she's got me beat by a year in playtime. But maybe if you multiply all my boxes out, the playtime of all my boxes, I've got her beat now. Not a contest you really want to win. But now that brings us into the modern era. I mean, it brings us into a place where most people that would ever watch this video about me playing video games for 50 years, yeah, you're all there. You're all with me. Okay, I remember when WoW came out. Or even if you don't remember when WoW came out, you might remember, oh yeah, I tried to play WoW at Wrath of the Lich King or Cataclysm or whatever. Same experience. Nothing changed. Basically, we as video gamers sat in shitty stasis, dancing the jig for that organ grinder for 15 years. Off and on. We would quit for a year and then come back, quit for a year and then come back. And we quit for several years and then came back. But we would always come back, like everybody. I mean, Monique would go back today. She was just saying today, we should just play WoW together. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We should just play WoW together? Really? Did you just say that? Hold on, I'm dry. Be right back. No, but things have changed for me. I mean, that's not going to happen, first of all. I'd prefer she not But if she does, I'm not going to stop her. You know, I don't think it's going to, I don't know. You know how I feel now. If you've watched my recent videos railing against video gaming as a waste of time, I really encourage her to do something else with her time. But I'm not going to forbid her. You might see her back there playing someday soon. You will not see me playing no time soon. So, but that brings me through 50 years of video gaming, and that's how it all happened. And now this year, I have stopped video games. It's now been more than 6 months off of video games, the longest in my lifetime. I've never not played video games for that long. Of course, I tried here and there to play video games, to play a game here or a game there, see, you know, what's up? Is this going to work for me? Am I right about leaving video games? And every time I tried, it was an unpleasant experience. I felt like I was wasting my time. I felt like I was dancing for the organ grinder as a dancing monkey, and I immediately quit. So those don't count. But here we go, man. That's 50 years. That's 50 years of video gaming with a whole lot of pinball thrown in there. Because I really did like pinball all my life. Okay. I think I'm done. I think that's the whole stream. Any questions? Man, Half-Life was good. Gotta say, Half-Life was so good. One of the very best games, the masterpiece of masterpieces. Portal was amazing also. Portal was fantastic. And Portal was another game I played in 3D. So never really got into the shooter games until Battlefield 4, but Battlefield 4 was the game that sent me over the top and got me into shooter games. And I learned how to play on a video game console until I could finish number 1 in Battlefield 4 maps. Until I could finish number 1. And how old was I? I was in my 40s, right? I was in my 40s before I ever played on a video game console. I ever played shooter games and aimed with my thumbs. That's not easy, my friends. That is not easy. So, hope you enjoyed this stroll down memory lane with me. I'm going to jump off and, I don't know, go watch something. What's the difference between watching something and playing a video game, Furious Wives? Just come play with us. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe nothing. Maybe there's no difference. But, yeah, I'm probably going to watch something. So, cheers, everybody. And for my next story, I will tell you, I've been tossing this around in my head, by the way, how I'm going to approach this. But I'm going to tell you how you can make $350,000 a year and still feel poor. And I'm going to give you all the numbers. And I'm going to tell you where all my money goes, where all my money comes from, and I'll let you judge for yourself how bad I am. All right, guys. Later.